Allie and welcome to day 2 at December Daily. Just want to start off by showing you what I have in my album right now. I have the back side of the pattern paper, the journal card that was used for yesterday in there right now. And the other things that I had already started from my foundation pages is a number 2 that's embossed with white embossing ink and a stamp on top. You can go back to the foundation page video and watch me talk about that. Or in that post as well. I have 2 other 3x4 cards because this is a 4-up 3x4 right now. One is a Be of Good Cheer. This is from my Cheer Story Kit. That's a subscription program that you can check out if you're interested in intentional storytelling. We have a theme each month, and this one is cheer. Not necessarily only holiday related, but it definitely is fitting in. And then I have one of the cards from the Jasmine Jones kit. Now, my story for today, I think, is going to be about taking Anna to the store yesterday to buy a toy for Toys for Tots. It's something that her school was collecting toys for and she really wanted to do it. So we took some time yesterday to go over there and go to Walmart and pick something up. So I think I'm going to include this photo. This is the one of the photos that I have liked to include in the past, which is a picture of one of the kids standing in front of aisles of something. I have some of Simon standing by Legos. Just, you know, to be able to get them by themselves shows the time right now, right? Their size, their age, what they're looking at, that kind of thing. So I think we're gonna go with that photo over here and just stick it in the pocket. I also like that the story that I can pull from this is talking about cheer and good cheer, and what does that mean in our lives right now, and what does it mean to be of good cheer? So I'm thinking about that. I haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna write yet. I am planning though that I think I'm gonna take the Jasmine Jones card out and I will probably use it somewhere else. This one right here is the back of day 3, so I'm gonna leave that in there. Actually, I think I'm gonna just put this one in here right now. I'm just gonna move it over to the next day because I may use it on day 3. So just ignore the red card for right now. So what I need next is journaling. I need the story, right? Because I still am in the beginning. This needs words. I feel like this spread needs words. So I'm gonna figure out some way to do 2 cards that have either a story that continues or a story that goes straight across. I haven't really decided exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but that is what I'm gonna do next. Another thing that there were some really cute transparent die cuts that were in one of the Studio Calico kits this month. They had a bunch of different pieces, like there's a big Merry Everything, which was really cute. Actually, I might even use that one. But I liked the idea of layering this on top of this card inside the kit. So I'm considering doing that as well. Most of the time I stick to what's in the kits, but there's just so many cute things out there that sometimes I like to add something else in there as well. So I'm gonna look through my collection of stuff here and figure out how I want to tackle my journaling. I'm probably just going to leave the photo as is. I may add a stamp on here. That was one of the things. Another thing I like to look for is a place that I could stamp on there, or add a word sticker like I did yesterday on this photo. I hope you can see that. The light's kind of crazy right now. So I am going to consider what some possible ideas are, and then I'll jump back on here and share them with you. All right, so I took a couple minutes to just look through my box of December Daily stuff, and I found this card, which was in the main kit. It was one of the 6x8 pieces of paper. It says stuff on one side of it and then just lined journal card on the other, and I'm thinking that actually color-wise would go really well on this page for the story of the second day, or the second story, day 2, whatever you want to call it. It's not a huge deal. Don't get too caught up in that, okay? But I think what I'm going to do is cut this up and figure out, do I want to have one long story? Do I want to have like part of a story on here, or a different subtitle, or I need to figure that kind of stuff out. So I'm going to think about that, and then I will share my thoughts with you in a minute. Okay, so I'm still not sure exactly what I'm going to do on the stuff card, the one with the yellow. I'm still kind of thinking that through, but I'm pretty sure that I want to handwrite my story onto this card. So I pulled out this stamp set, which was one of the December Daily stamp sets, and I'm going to use the prompt on here that says, I love this because, and I'm going to be talking about this story of going to pick out the toy for Toys for Tots. And one of the things I'm also thinking about is on that other card, on the stuff card, I'm thinking about maybe doing something like, you know, how the other one says be of good cheer. Maybe this one will say something like be the kind of person that, you know, takes care of other people or cares for other people, or some sort of sentiment like that, if I'm not including a specific story. I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about that one. But this one I know for sure. And I think I'm just going to do, I'm trying to decide, I'm looking at the colors in the album, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do red or black. And these are the kinds of things that I encourage people all the time to not let this take that much time, because these are the places where you can, all of a sudden you're taking, you know, an hour to decide on a stamp color, and really who cares? Nobody's going to care. So that's probably why a lot of the times I just default to black, because black, and I'm just using black stays on. But it's so easy and simple and classic and whatever. So we're going to go with that. And I'm just going to stamp this right in the top portion of this journal card. Very simple. Again, you know, this does not need to be a complicated endeavor here. I'm just going to say I love this because, and then I'm going to handwrite my journaling right on there once I have a pen. And for my journaling, I want to talk about how I'm thankful that Anna really wanted to do this. Like, I had read about it in the school newsletter, but she was the one that says, we have to go do this, Mom. We need to go do this today. So talking about that sort of giving spirit of good cheer is what I'm going to actually write on the journal card. So I'm going to go ahead and handwrite that now, and then I'll jump back on here with my next steps. Okay, so as I often do sometimes, I changed my mind, and part of it was because, well, a couple things. One is I wrote it out, and I wrote it on both cards, and I think this would be a perfectly fine way to approach the story, way to tell it, everything, you know, put it in there, maybe add something on top of there, some little embellishment. But as I was doing it, I decided I wanted to add more, and I wanted to add more to the story itself. And you know, just a couple other things, that's details that I wanted to include about how I had seen in the newsletter, but how it was really her idea. So this became kind of my my trial run, I would say. And sometimes that happens to me, and it's just something to think about. A lot of times though, I'm fine with it, I run with it, it's great, I'm happy. Today I had a little bit more time. So what I did instead was I adapted a 6x8 layer template. I made a video for you so you can see how I did that and how I resized it. And then I took this, typed it up, added it on here, included a little bit more of the story of what I wanted to do, and then I'm going to take the same stamp and I'm going to stamp it right up on the top. Now, this is I'm going to cut it to a 3x4, obviously. I printed it on photo paper. It just was quick and easy, and what I had right there. I'm using an Epson Picture Mate. I'm trying out the new Epson Picture Mate. It's called the PM400. My Picture Mate show that I've used forever finally died, and this is the new model. So I'm testing out. It's working really well so far. This picture was printed on. I mean, this is the same happiness level so far with this one as I had with the last one. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that up with my trimmer. And this also isn't, you know, super complicated, but I can show you just how I do that too. So it is a little bit of eyeballing. Sometimes I'll take a card like this one that I know I can kind of see, you know, what's the midway point. And if I just slide it up there, it may be, you know, it's close enough. It might be off a little bit, but at least then I have an idea of where the middle is. You could also just take a ruler and find the midway point if you wanted to be super precise. But I think that this is good enough. And I'm actually it might be a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna trim it off on the other side too. Let's see. Sometimes I make these intentionally just a little smaller so that I know for sure that they're gonna fit into the pocket. Okay, so this is the card that I'm gonna use. I still may use the orange top of this one. I'm still thinking about what I'm gonna do, because now I know that my story fit on to one thing. So I'm thinking that I may do some kind of transparent piece underneath here, like cut this off and have it be like a star transparency or something that then would see through to the other side, and we'll talk about that in a minute. What I want to do now though, so here's kind of a look at what I have right now. That other one I want to add on there. So I still need to stamp on here. Now I think what I'm going to do is actually emboss. This is what happens. This is how you get into this stuff, right? It starts getting crazy. I think I'm going to emboss. I love this because with gold, because will repeat the gold that I have up here on the washi tape. So I'm going to go ahead and get my tools out for that, and I'll show you that process in a minute. Okay, so for embossing, you need some embossing ink, you need some embossing powder. This is gold tinsel from Tim Holtz. You need a stamp, you need a heat gun, right? That's what's gonna set it. I still use this old snappy tray that I've been using forever because it's easy to pour that on top of there. So we'll go ahead and just do this, putting the stamp right in here, getting it wet, and then I'm gonna stamp it right on top of the card. Again, and kind of try to find that middle section there. Stamp it down. Rock back and forth potentially a little bit. Looks good. Cover that up so it doesn't get too wet. And then take my embossing powder right on here. Nice little cute gold look there. Dump my powder back in there. This is how I get contaminated powder when I don't clean it in between. But I've been better about that. And then use your heat gun to set it. Okay, so somebody had asked about this recently, and this is actually a good time to bring this up, about whether or not you can emboss on photos. So I just embossed on photo paper. I'm not sure what would happen if it actually had a picture on it, but I could definitely see where right at the end there it was starting to bubble up a little bit under the paper and warp. So I would just be careful if you're wanting to emboss on top of any sort of photo paper that has a photo printed on it, but that's good enough for this, and I really like how that turned out. So I think that was worth that little bit of extra effort for me to change the journaling so it told more of the story, and then to put that little bit of embossing on there. Okay, so that part's all set. I think it feels good enough there. I'm gonna slip it down into the pocket, and next I'm gonna deal with, well, this thing. I do want to add it on there, so let's just do that right now. I'm going to use a stapler. I want it to go off the edge a little bit, just like that. I want it to be enough. I'll just staple right below, I think. Favorite stapler. Stapled right there, and then I'm going to cut off. Turn it over, cut along the edge. Again, this is a card from the Cheer story kit, and then this was from Studio Calico, I think an add-on kit for last month. Let's see. So we have that in there, we have that, and now we're gonna deal with that. Okay, for that other little pocket, I think what I've decided to use is, like I said, what I'm wanting off of here is I really do want to keep, I like the orange color because it goes with that. Not that everything I do always has to match, but I like that it does. So I found this vellum, Gold Star vellum that I have in my stash. It's an older sheet from crepe paper. These are the kinds of things that I've used regularly and that I like to use regularly, so I sometimes get them in multiples. And I'm going to trim it to 3 inches wide so that it's going to be the same as the card. So trim that big piece there. And you know, whatever, you may have some additional transparencies. You could use transparencies from the kit. I used mine. I'm using mine as full pages, but I know some people cut them up. So it's kind of figuring out what works best for you. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to cut this off, cut the journaling part off that I'm not using. And then we are going to attach it to the back here. And there's a couple, you could do a couple different things. You could, you know, leave this on here. You can see the back, it almost looks red. I'm gonna use another card to give me the full 3x4 here. Let's see, just a random card. Actually, I could just cut, I'm just gonna trim this to 4 inches. And then you can put something else on the back to cover up the top part of that card, or I will do that tomorrow when I work on the next page. Because on this day, this is what I'm looking for, something like this that will go into the album that will be semi-transparent, so you'll be able to see through it just a little bit. And it's not, you know, it's decorative. I have 3 decorative things, which is not always what I would do. Sometimes I would add more pictures or something else like that, but it works for this day. So what I want to do is I'm just going to adhere this on to there using my adhesive, and then I'm going to put something on top for the title. Now, what you put on there is going to be entirely up to you based on what the story is that you are choosing to tell for the day. This is another thing from the cheer kit. I'm pulling some stuff from that. It was designed with knowing that it was going to be coming out in this month, but it was also, you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily super Christmassy, but some of the stuff is just sentiments that I would use. Other things that you could put on here, you could put one of the trees. That would go right on there. If you did some circle embellishments, or you could also put, you know, one of the little buttons on there. Lots of different things. You could punch a circle out. You could use one of the green stickers like I used yesterday from the kit. Lots and lots of different things that could be added there. So I want to use this, but I want to cut it up because obviously that doesn't fit on there. But I want it to say, "This brings me," and then "great joy." And so I'm just going to cut it up, and then I'm going to get it, figure out how I can get it on here in a way that I think looks good. So I'm just trimming off some of the extras, and I'm kind of thinking about going in the middle there. One of the issues, as you can see here, is that if I put it right in the middle, which is kind of where I would normally put it, you can still see the word behind there. So I guess I could add them together close enough like that where that looks cool. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And I kind of want it to be a little bit off, like turned a little bit just like that, so that it's not so straight. Everything I do is pretty straight, but it's kind of fun to have it not be straight sometimes. Okay, and it feels kind of playful and fun, and Anna is playful and fun. So let's see. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to add some additional kind of texture on here. So I'm going to staple on the edges, which just kind of makes me feel like there's something else holding this down on there. And I'm going to do it there and there, so it makes your eye go here and then come back around, and these are the starting and the end points. Okay, so let's check that out here. So I like that it does keep that same color. Just kind of an idea for any kind of card that you may add in there as well. Let's see, and so then you still have the see-through. You got the see-through up here. We have the gold 3 places. I can deal with that tomorrow, figuring out what I'm going to do there. And then we have the picture over here. So just kind of the picture talking about where we were and what was going on. And I think that's good. I'm going to call it good for day 2. And I hope that there's lots of good information or inspiration for you as you tackle your own day as well. See you soon.